Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
The 2025 Coach of the Year from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kenny Atkinson.
Yes, indeed. And we congratulate Kenny Atkinson on that award.
Time. White has the ball, holds it high, throws it to Brown, left wing, stripped by Bridges, hangs onto it, took it away, throws it down court, and the New York Knicks stun the Celtics.
It rims out. Brown grabs it. 7 seconds left. Westbrook, 5 seconds. They're down by one. Gordon got it. Aaron Gordon with a deep shot. Williams, three-quarter court. No good. The Nuggets steal game one. That's a winner for Aaron Gordon. 121 to 119.
And there you have it. Some of the wild moments from last night. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show, everybody. Hello, 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. You can listen to us on the WDPN X page, the Facebook page, and you can watch us right here on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Good afternoon, everybody. Sammy B here. My producer extraordinaire, Ryan Rainsberg, on the other side of the glass. Welcome in to the afternoon show. We'll be with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Real quick, let's get a couple of house cleaning items out of the way. The phone number to call in today, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can text the show anytime at 330-536-1146. Okay. Ryan Rainsberg, how we doing today, my friend?
We are just getting started today, man. Let me tell you.
My man's he's working up a sweat over there. He's been working hard here this afternoon, getting us ready for the big show today. We'll be checking in intermittently with Ryan and see what's on his mind today throughout the show. I got to tell you what, though. I got a lot of positive feedback yesterday from friends that texted and a couple of folks that, what is it? They call it IM, instant messaging on the social media. They enjoyed our talk with the with video games yesterday, whether it was on the phone or some kind of a console. And I wanted to pass that along to you. So you were an instant star yesterday talking about video games. So we may have to revisit that sometime here down the road.
Well, I'm glad people thought I was insightful.
Yeah, they said you had to write a book, direct a movie, do all those kind of things.
Well, fantastic.
For video games. So part of the show was going to be today to recap the Guardians and the Nationals from last night. Well, Mother Nature did her thing again. So there was no baseball last night. So it's I shouldn't say a twilight. It is a regularly scheduled doubleheader today in our nation's capital. Coming up in about a half an hour, game one between the Guardians and the Nationals. Ortiz and Irvin will be your pitching matchup. And then game two tonight, about 20 or so minutes after the conclusion of game one, it will be Lively and Lord, the pitching matchup, Cleveland and Washington. But the big story today, big story tonight, is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. This is game two of the Eastern Conference semifinals, as you know. Pacers whipped up on the Cavaliers on Sunday night at Rocket Arena, 121-112. Took a 1-0 series lead in the best of seven. Cavaliers didn't play their best ball, couldn't hit a three, couldn't defend a three, and really kind of ran out of gas there in the fourth quarter. So we turn our attention to tonight. Tip off around 7:30. If you're looking for the ball game tonight, it will be. Let me see here. It will be on TNT. Cavaliers are a 7.5-point favorite. The total is 228.5. Cavs were an 8.5-point favorite Sunday, lost. They possibly, and I say possibly because we're not 100% sure, they possibly could be without three of their premier players tonight in game 2. Vegas is still a big believer in the Cavs tonight. They've got Cleveland -7.5. To the injury news, everything I read today, all the pregame videos I watched today, and the last one I watched was about 2:30. Garland, Hunter, Mobley, questionable for tonight's game. Yet the Cavaliers are a 7.5-point favorite. Are the basketball experts banking on Mitchell and Allen and Strus and a couple other guys just to amp their game up so big tonight that the Cavaliers are going to blow Indiana right out of the building? Could it happen? Sure it could. I also believe that most of the experts, and even people like you and me, don't expect the Pacers to shoot three-pointers tonight at a 56% clip. And I don't expect the Cavaliers to shoot three-pointers at a 22% clip like they did the other night. What are they, 9 of 38 or some nonsense like that? So the stage is set for game 2 at 7:30 tonight. Tyrese Halliburton, he's kind of like the engine that makes it go for Indiana. He's at about 18 points a game, 6 rebounds. He also dishes out about 12 assists a game. So Tyrese is kind of a stat sheet stuffer, if you will. Donovan Mitchell, as of this moment, averaging 25.6 a game, just under 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1.5 steals per game. And again, the injury situation, Garland, Mobley, Hunter, game time decisions. So let's just say that the Cavaliers are going to be without those 3. What does the starting lineup look like tonight? Would it be Mitchell, Allen, Merrill, Wade, and Strus? And then coming off the bench, you would have... No, I take that back. You got to start. You got to go Allen, Mitchell, Merrill, Jerome, and Hunter. No, Hunter's not going to play. I take that back. So you'd have to put Dean Wade in there to start. Then your bench, you would have Okoro, Porter. I mean, we're really getting down to the bare bones here if we're without these 3 guys tonight. We really are. Now, I don't know when we're going to find out. I'm hoping before the end of our show this afternoon, we find out who is going to be playing for the Cavaliers tonight. Again, the tip is they keep switching this around here. Now they get the tip at 7. Let me see if there's a 9:30 game in the NBA tonight. If that's a 9:30, yes. All right, so the Cavs will tip at 7. 7 o'clock tip. So I'm hoping we find out before we leave you tonight at 6 o'clock who is going to be playing for the Cavaliers. Kenny Atkinson, by the way, as we mentioned at the end of our show yesterday, was awarded the NBA Coach of the Year. You heard Charles Barkley making that announcement in our show open here today on 1310 WDPN. So congratulations to Kenny Atkinson. 64, 65 wins in the regular season. Got a sweep of the Heat in the first round of the NBA playoffs, and now this is where he's going to earn it. This is where we're going to figure out how good Kenny Atkinson is. More than likely, and I say more than likely, I'm not guaranteed, it's not a must win, but more than likely, I look at it as you better win this game tonight. You don't want to go down 0-2. at home, for crying out loud, and then go to Indiana, where they will be sharks swimming in the blood-infested waters. Okay? So you really need to find a way to win here tonight. I don't care if it's by hook or by crook. Just have one more point at the end of the night. That's all I'm asking. Cavaliers are going to need a real good effort tonight. ESPN, their get-up show, Jay Williams, we're going to bring Jay up here and get his thoughts. And he is really worried about this Cleveland Cavaliers team, especially after that loss Sunday to the Indiana Pacers. Here's Jay Williams. We'll get Jay here in a minute. We'll bring him up here in a second. He was really worried about the effort. He was worried about guarding on the perimeter. And he was worried why the Cavaliers only had two players, more or less, taking the bulk of their shots against Indiana. Got to spread it around. Now, here, look, that's easy to say now if you're healthy. If you're down three starters, then it might have to be 1-2 punch for tonight, trying to take care of everything offensively for the Cavaliers. And don't think Rick Carlisle and the Indiana Pacers, don't think they've been sleeping at the switch here. They know what the Cavaliers might have to do. They know who might have to get more playing time tonight than normal. It's going to be interesting. Big game, too, tonight. At 7 o'clock, Cavs and Pacers. Of course, we'll be talking all about it tomorrow here on 1310 WDPN and streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. I am anxious. I'm not even going to say excited about tonight's game. I'm anxious about tonight's game. And I'm anxious to see how we come out of the blocks. And I'm anxious if we come out of the blocks fast, can we stay there? Because in the NBA, it doesn't mean anything. If you go up 10, 12, 14 early, it doesn't mean anything. By the time the 6-minute mark rolls around in the third quarter, whatever happened in the first half, that's all out the window. All right, I think we got Jay Williams queued up and ready to go. Here's Jay on ESPN's First Take on his worries of the Cavaliers right now.
Concerned about the Cavs. Number one, Garland in that situation. And number two, defensively, you talk about one of the best teams defensively in the league. I mean, they just look uninterested in this game. I mean, for 19 threes to be made on 54% shooting, with all the narratives that have been looming around Cleveland throughout the entire year, I better see a different Cleveland team in game two. And I know they had a good layoff, and sometimes that layoff can disrupt your rhythm and how you're prepared for that game. But still, that's no excuses. I saw lazy defense. Donovan Mitchell, I think he is a superstar in this league. 33 points on 30 shots. You have two players that took 50 of their 98 shots, Greeny. The second player was Ty Jerome. Mm-hmm. So, look, not showing up offensively, but defensively not being locked in. That was one of the most disappointing efforts that I've seen in the game one.
Ooh, there's Jay Williams from ESPN. 50 of 98 shots were taken by two players, and Ty Jerome was one of them. Look, I have as much faith in Ty Jerome as anybody, but I don't know necessarily if I want him being my 2 or 3 punch guy. You know what I mean? Especially the way he plays, his style, the way he gets his shots. He's got to work a little harder, maybe than Spider or some of the other guys. But I'm very anxious. Are you here, Cavaliers fans out there right now? Are you excited? Are you anxious? Are you a little tepid? Are you confident? Are you worried? How do you feel coming into tonight's game too? I want to kind of get the pulse of the fans out there. How you feeling right now before game two? 330-821-1310 is the telephone number. That's 330-821-1310. You can also text the program at 330-536-1146, or you can leave comments on our Q92 Radio YouTube channel, which is up and rolling right now. How will you feel before tonight's game two? I've told you, I'm anxious. I'm very anxious. I'll be outright nervous if I find out that we're going to be really shorthanded in tonight's game. Like, I don't even want to be without Garland anymore. I want all our guys out there ready to go. Put some dirt on it and let's go. But how are you feeling tonight, Cavs fans? 330-821-1310. Or do you feel, hey, it's game 2? There's no way in the world a repeat of game 1 happens again. We got this. We're going to go 1-1, and we're going to get ready for game 3 in Indiana on Friday night. I bet you could run the gamut from nervous Nelly to confidence above all. I bet you could do that right now. From one end of the spectrum to the other, how you feel before tonight's game. Also, I don't know. I don't think the Indiana Pacers are only going to miss one free throw tonight. They were 14 for 15 in game 1. I don't think they can shoot that well again. I will tell you this. If they come out and shoot 50% from 3 again, we're not winning tonight. We're going to be 0-2. And then the rumblings are going to get louder. And then the nerves are going to go. And then what you're going to have at Rocket Arena is people not getting up, screaming and hollering and clapping and, let's go Cavs and defense and all the good stuff. Now you're going to get people that are kind of sitting on their hands with that nervous silence of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? And when you get that kind of feel in an arena as a home team, that's not good for anybody. Because if that happens, you have already crossed over to, we probably aren't going to win this game, or we probably aren't going to win this series. And that's not good. 330-821-1310 is the telephone number. We're going to take a break here at the bottom of the hour. Get you all the news and weather, get you caught up on your day. It is the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN. Don't forget you can watch on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Stay with us, everybody. More to come.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. Israel has begun calling up reservists as it moves to intensify and expand its campaign in Gaza. The chief of staff of the Israeli Defense Forces said Monday the military has already begun issuing thousands of call-up orders. The announcement comes after a missile fired by Houthi terrorists in Yemen toward Israel on Sunday landed near the country's main international airport, causing panic, drawing threats of retaliation against the group and its backers in Iran. 8 people were taken to a hospital for mild to moderate injuries resulting from the strike. Israeli Air Force pounded a port city in Yemen. U.S. naval forces in the Red Sea also struck the Houthis Monday, focusing on the capital of Sana'a. China's 6 largest banks have posted first quarter reports with a significant drop in both earnings and profits. Experts said the drop indicates a stalling economy likely to continue to worsen as the effects kick in of the tariff war between China and the U.S. Taken together, net profit attributable to parent companies fell by $1 billion compared with the same period in 2024. China's Purchasing Managers Index for its manufacturing sector fell to a 16-month low in April as new tariffs took effect. The PMI is an indicator of the prevailing direction of economic trends. A reading lower than 50 indicates economic contraction. Louisiana authorities charged a second suspect with murder in the death of a television reporter covering the Super Bowl in New Orleans. 27-year-old Aiden Manzano, reporter and anchor for Telemundo, was found dead February 5th in his hotel room in the New Orleans suburb of Kenner. Woman seen on security video leaving the room was later charged with second-degree murder. Kenner police announced Monday 34-year-old Ricky White has also been charged with second-degree murder. He was arrested in Florida in March on robbery and fraud charges related to Manzano's death. President Trump Monday banned federal funding for gain-of-function research in some countries, including China. The president's order forbids federal funds from supporting the risky research aimed at increasing pathogenicity or other function of a virus in certain countries unless there's proper oversight. According to the order, the new rules will protect Americans from potentially dangerous research, including the manipulation of viruses, toxins, and other biological materials. Illegal immigrants who trek through the jungle region known as the Darien Gap between Colombia and Panama while making their way to the U.S. border left behind garbage, gasoline, and fecal matter, which South American officials say has resulted in an environmental crisis. Up to 3,000 migrants every day would routinely cross until illegal immigration plummeted. The 2,500 tons of trash left behind during former President Biden's term has amassed a $12 million cleanup cost. Panamanian environmental minister told the Associated Press the United States should pay for it. Communities surrounding the Darien Gap fear bathing in the river due to the pollution. Their main food source, fish, is scarce due to gasoline in the water. The Trump administration has approached far-flung countries to aid its deportation effort. The administration has already brokered agreements with several Latin American countries willing to accept migrants who are not their own. In February, the U.S. deported hundreds of African and Asian migrants to Costa Rica and Panama and sent nearly 300 Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador. Guatemala has agreed to take in third-country deportees. The Mexican government has been receiving migrants from other Latin American countries, such as Venezuela. Eastern Hemisphere countries the administration has identified as places that could accept deportations include Libya, Moldova, Rwanda, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea. 57 degrees at 3:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Scattered rain and strong to severe storms likely by late afternoon into the evening hours today. It's going to be warmer, 71 degrees for the high. Overnight, more scattered showers and strong storms, mainly before midnight. Our low, 51. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
Military personnel are returning home with specialized skills. Hire smart, hire a vet. This message courtesy of Wisman's Apex Tree Service in New Franklin, where they're specializing in residential and commercial tree removal, proper pruning, and tree maintenance. Check out their Facebook page and visit them online at apextreeohio.com or call 330-807-8398, 330-807-8398. For Aaron Wisman and his crew at Wisman's Apex Tree Service, reminding everyone to hire smart, hire a vet.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
Tonight we're gonna take no prisoners. This time we're gonna live our dream. Tonight the orange and blue delivers. Hard-working town, hard-working team. Oh, and tonight the hardwood's burning, and the crafts will keep on working. Get behind the orange and blue with all your might. Cavs basketball, tonight's the night. Cavs basketball, tonight's the night.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, maybe that'll get us going. Oh, little old school. Michael Stanley. Remember when the Cavaliers were orange and blue? Price, Doherty, Hot Rod. Who else did we have? Mike Sanders. Do we have Ben Poquette then? We had some players. Danny Ferry. We got some players. Maybe that'll give us a little luck tonight. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show here on AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world. You can listen to us at AM1310WDPN.com, the WDPN page on X, on Facebook, and as again, you can also watch us on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Also, you can follow me on X at Sam Bourquin16, and you can watch the show there. You can watch it anywhere. All right, just watch, listen, comment. Love to be interactive with you here Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 on 1310 WDPN. Phone lines are open for you. I want to hear from you Cavs fans today. How we feeling before tonight's game? 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. You can also text the show, 330-536-1146. Still no real official information from the Cavaliers, from the NBA, any of the outstanding beat reporters out there about the latest injury situation for the Cavaliers. I don't know. Donovan might have to go for 50. You might have to go for 50 tonight, Spida. Now look here. He is certainly a guy that could go get it. But then he would really have to relish those 2 days off in between. But you know what? Just go out there and do what you got to do to win this game tonight. And another thing I wanted to touch on, and again, congratulations to Cavs coach Kenny Atkinson for being named the NBA Coach of the Year. By the way, just JB Bickerstaff finished second. How about that? So when Kenny addressed the media, he talked about how maybe he had to go back and kind of relook at how games are supposed to be officiated in the NBA. He got a couple of questions about, about some of the guys who were injured, about Mobley, about Hunter, and how they got injured within the game. That terrible fall that was taken by Jared Allen. Remember that in the paint? He went down like on his tailbone, just smacked the floor. And I said, "Ooh, man, that had to hurt." It looks like Mobley tweaked his ankle. Hunter, we hear, has a dislocated thumb. Okay. But I thought Kenny was kind of planting the seeds a little bit for the officiating crew. And I'm not sure who's on the crew tonight. We'll look that up. But he was kind of planting the seeds of, hey, let's take a little closer look on what we're calling and what we're not calling during this game tonight. Now, he credited the Indiana Pacers. Hey, tough team, hard-nosed team. He says, I like the way they play. He says, they're not a dirty team. But he said the officials need to look at how they're calling the game. He believes at a couple of points the other night that maybe they let it get a too rough and tumble, I think he was saying. So we've seen this over the years. How many times after a game one, or maybe after a game two when there is a change of scenery, maybe one team is leaving the road and coming home, the coaches will try to plant that seed. They're complaining without complaining about the officiating. Let's see if that comes into play tonight. And you'll know early. You know how the NBA is. You know how the NBA works. If it'll happen, it's going to happen early. And the crowd will be whipped up into a frenzy, and you'll see calls that you're like, oh, hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. You'll think, boy, the crowd talked him into that one. That's just how the NBA works. So you'll know in the first 4 or 5 minutes tonight if the Cavaliers are going to get some calls. And if the first 5 or 6 minutes go by and it looks eerily like the game was called on Sunday, then you are going to have to deal with it. Doug is checking in on the text line. Sam, could the Cavs be being coy with these injuries, meaning not saying anything, but all three playing, even if it's limited minutes? Time will tell. Doug, appreciate you listening. Do you think there's a little cat and mouse going on here tonight with the Cavs? Now, Vegas thinks so. Vegas believes the Cavaliers are going to win, and they're going to win comfortably. Again, I'm not exactly 100% sure on the rules and regulations with the NBA when you have to announce who is going to be healthy and who's going to be a scratch that night. It seems like it's a lot different than the NFL. I think the NFL, you got to let them know 24 hours in advance at least for their injury report. And MLB, I'm not sure how theirs works either. But the NBA, I think maybe you have until like an hour or an hour and a half maybe before game time. So if they tip at 7 tonight, maybe by 5:30 we know. Maybe we will know the last half hour of our show tonight. And we can kick that around a little bit. But I'll be checking. I'll be checking everything during the program today. As soon as I see anything, I will let you know. Normally I wouldn't be as like, oh, I got to know this stuff. I got to know, I got to find out. But the fact that the Cavaliers are down 0-1, and I know that they're going to be out without three guys, then that changes everything. That really changes everything. Now, the NBA playoffs have been a pretty good watch. They've been a pretty good watch so far this year. And boy, we had a couple of dandies last night. You heard a couple of the highlights on the show open today. The Knicks coming back from way, way back to beat the Boston Celtics. In overtime, in the Garden, 108-105. And then the Nuggets stun the Oklahoma City Thunder, 121-119. And I want to start with that Nuggets OKC game last night. The Thunder had a chance to put that thing on ice. And they went to the free throw line. Chet Holmgren went to the free throw line and spit the bit. Missed 2 free throws. Cost him the game. He had a hell of a night. 27 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 1 steal, 4 blocks for Chet Holmgren. But he missed 2 free throws at the end of the night. And what about Nikola Jokic? 42 points, 22 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal. Boy, I don't know. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP. The Joker, man, you could probably give it to him every year. You could probably give it to Jokic every year. But the Nuggets went into OKC last night and stole one against the Thunder. They lead that best-of-7 series now 1-0. The other wild one last night at TD Garden, where the New York Knicks scored 55 points in the second half to Boston's 39. They outgot them. Good English. They outscored them 8-5 in the overtime and beat the Celtics 108-105. Jalen Brunson, 29 to lead the Knicks last night. Jason Tatum, 23 for the Celtics with 16 rebounds and 6 assists. How about the Knicks shooting 31 free throws on the road last night? And they only made 17 of them. They missed 14 free throws on the road and they still won the game last night. Celtics got whistled for 22 fouls. The Knicks had 19. I found it interesting and sort of funny. Boston last night, game one against the Knicks, they were favored by 8.5. The exact number the Cavs were favored over Indiana in game one, 8.5. So the NBA playoffs have been really, really good. Really, really good. I think better than the last couple of years. I think they've been. I know the ratings are up. I know the ratings are up across on TNT, ESPN, ABC. The ratings are up. So you got the Cavs and Pacers tonight, and then at 9:30 you've got the Timberwolves and Golden State. The Wolves are laying 6.5 at home tonight against Steph and the Warriors. That is game one of the best of 7. You would think now, because the Warriors get stretched to a game 7, they're a little more of a veteran group, a little older than the young Timberwolves. You would think maybe Minnesota really puts it to them tonight in Minneapolis. It's a 9:30 tip. We'll see how that one plays out tonight. But I think the NBA playoffs have been fantastic. Now, the worst series of the playoffs was the opening series with the Cavs and the Heat, where Cleveland beat Miami by 122 points, an average of over 30.5 points a win. Most of the other series have not been bad. Now, there's a couple 4-1s, but I think we're getting into the good part now. I think we're getting into the good stuff where you should have 2 great NBA playoff games every night. You really should. Now, tomorrow night, it's another doubleheader. Knicks Celtics at 7, 9:30, the Nuggets and the Thunder. And then remember, the Cavaliers and the Pacers do not play until Friday night back in Indianapolis. That'll be game 3 at 7:30. Don't forget, game 4 is Sunday night. That is an 8 p.m. tip-off from Indianapolis. 330-821-1310. 330-821-1310. You can text the show at 330-536-1146. Michael in Salem says, Sam, love the show. Glad you're on 1310 WDPN. Hope to get you out to do a Salem football game this fall. Oh, Michael, you never know. We're going to step out. We're going to take a break. We're about 11 minutes away from the top of the hour news. We'll step out. We'll take a break. It's the Sam Bourquin Show. 330-821-1310. 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
Of all the ways to get ahead in life, we're one of them. And we're legal. The John Tesh Radio Show.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room.
You're just trying to be better. We're just trying to help. The John Tesh Radio Show.
Join me for music and intelligence for your life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's intelligence for your life.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, You take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at WD.
Is the telephone number. You can text 330-536-1146. Ryan, got a text over there, I believe, or a comment on the YouTube. What do
We
you
have
got?
a YouTube comment from Cole saying robotic umpires will ruin the MLB and the Cavs better win.
All right, Cole. Appreciate you listening, bud. Somehow I got a feeling Cole is going to wager on the Cavs game tonight. I just have a feeling.
He seems confident, that's for sure.
Yeah, I believe he's probably going to get down on that game, if you know what I mean. Yeah, we were talking yesterday afternoon about the robotic. Is it time for robotic umpires? With the ball strike shenanigans that are going on, some guys have their own little interpretation of the strike zone in Major League Baseball. This guy's a high strike ump. This guy's a low strike. This guy likes him outside. This guy likes him inside. Excuse me. What's the letter of the law? What is the strike zone? Now, I know we can't go and resurrect Nelson Doubleday, who invented the game. But what exactly is that strike zone? Is it from the chest to the knees? Where exactly is it? What is the strike zone? Look, I'm all for the human element. I think most of you are. But you can't take a rule or the fundamentals of a rule of a strike zone, and you can't interpret it your own way. You are not the judge and jury here. I mean, it's real simple. And I grew up as a pitcher. I started pitching when I was 8, and I pitched until I was in my mid-20s. And it was real simple. A strike is a strike, a ball is a ball. I never understood, well, hey, Sammy, this guy, he'll give you the high strike. Well, as a pitcher, I didn't think it was a good idea to throw high strikes. You know, those usually ended up about 400 feet over the fence, right? Hey, Sammy, this guy, he likes him low and off the corner. That he's going to give you that strike. Is he going to give me that strike every time I put the ball there? And at the end of the day, why don't we just go with a strike is a strike? We discussed this yesterday. And I think I've made clear I think I'm ready to go with the robotic umpires. I think I'm there. Maybe I'll let it play out. We're only about 38, 39 games in. I'll let it play out. I'll watch a lot of these games. I'll watch what the umpires are doing behind the plate. I'll watch and see how many calls they miss. I'll see how many times that they're inconsistent with the calling of a strike or a ball. And then we'll come back here Lord willing, next baseball season, and we'll say, well, looks like enough people agreed. We're going to go with the robotic ump, or we're going to go with the challenge. Again, I don't like the constant interruptions and stoppages in play, but the way this worked in baseball during spring training games, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it literally took 5 seconds. Literally took 5 seconds, and you knew whether it was going to stay a ball or it was going to be overturned, a strike, or vice versa. It was really good. The technology was good. It was quick. It was on point. There was no screwing around, and it worked really well. And I think if you can do that at the major league level, and now we know a ball's a ball, a strike's a strike, and it's fair for the batter, it's fair for the umpire, it's fair for the pitcher, the catcher, the fans, then I think we got something. I think we got something there. So we'll see how that goes. But, Cole, I appreciate the comment on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel, where you can watch the Sam Bourquin Show Monday through Friday, 3 until 6. You can also listen to us on AM1310WDPN.com on the live stream, the Facebook page, and the 1310 WDPN page on X. We're about a minute or so away from the top of the hour. We'll get you news, we'll get your weather, we'll get all that good stuff for you. 4:35 today, we're going to check in with Nate Larisha, the Sports Information Director of Athletics Communications at the University of Mount Union. How about the Purple Raiders? They got a big weekend coming up. We finally got all the details for you on the OAC baseball tournament. The Mount Union lacrosse team is also getting ready. And more or less, the Mount Union spring sports teams are having an incredible spring season. So we'll talk to Nate Larisha coming up at 4:35 here from the University of Mount Union. Also, a little bit later on today, we'll tell you what numbers the draft class of 2025 of the Cleveland Browns are going to wear. You won't believe the number Shedeur Sanders has picked, or the number Quinshon Judkins has picked. All right, we'll tell you about that. Caitlin Clark continues to set records for WNBA broadcast on TV, and we'll tell you who the newest award winner of the NBA is as far as general manager, and we'll tell you where Kobe Altman fell in that deal as well. News and weather coming up. Stay with us. 2 more big hours to go on the Sam Bourquin Show. It's all right here. Hang out with us on this Tuesday afternoon. AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Talks at the White House between President Trump and Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney focusing on U.S. imposed tariffs. Carney says Canada is the biggest trading client for the U.S. and tariffs open up the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement carved out during the first Trump administration.
It is a basis for a broader negotiation. Some things about it are going to have to change. And part of the way you've conducted these tariffs has taken advantage of existing aspects of USMCA. So it's going to have to change. There's other elements that are come, and that's part of what we're going to discuss.
President Trump says more talks are needed before tariffs are lifted. Following last week's brief outage of critical air traffic controller radar screens at Newark Liberty International, Flight Radar 24 showing nearly 900 flights have been canceled. ATC supervisors now being sent to help monitor the airspace. Police in Texas say the body of a 10-year-old girl swept away by floods in Texas has been recovered today. This is ABC News.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Clint Marshall on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. Election day is today. Polls close at 7:30. Alliance voters will decide a Republican candidate for council at large. Council members Chris Bergara, Jennifer Kiko, and Philip Mastriani are challenged by the Reverend Joshua Smith. 3 of the 4 will advance. The winners will face Democrat Jorge Mendoza in November. In Ward 3, Council member Ed Lonas faces primary challenger Logan Kelleher. The winner will face Democrat Jessica Risoliti in the general election. Stark County Children's Services asking for approval of a $1.4 million levy to replace one passed in 2019. Current levy, which is expiring, raises about $12.6 million a year. The replacement would raise about $18.7 million. State Issue 2 would fund public infrastructure capital improvements by allowing Ohio to issue general obligation bonds. $2.5 billion over 10 years would go toward projects including roads, bridges, sewers, and water lines. Some members of Alliance City Council criticizing appointments to the city's Housing Oversight Board. Mayor Andy Grove is proposing council members Sheila Cherry, Philip Mastriani, and Cindy King as the board's council member, landlord, and tenant, respectively. Councilman Chris Bergara.
This is a biased board that's it favors the mayor's decisions. I think he's upset because he's not getting his way with the ordinance, and this is his vindictive way of getting back at council.
Councilwoman Jennifer Kiko also expressed concerns about the selections. Councilman Ed Lonas asked the mayor to reconsider the appointments, which Grove says he will do. The board also includes the mayor and safety service director. It's part of rental property regulations passed by council last month. Alliance councils approved legislation allowing the safety service director to purchase a used Caterpillar soil stabilizer. The ordinance passed Monday states the expense will be no more than $98,000. Safety service director Mike Drager says the city can improve operations for making topsoil with biosolids by using the stabilizer. Council also passed an ordinance allowing the safety service director to advertise for proposals for professional services to assess the water treatment plant's industrial pre-treatment program, provide updates and training, select a firm, and negotiate a contract. Skeletal remains found in Akron last week are those of a Canton man. The Summit County Medical Examiner's Office says Akron police responded to a homeless encampment in the 300 block of Silver Street Friday afternoon. Officers discovered the remains in a fire pit in nearby area. They were taken to the medical examiner's lab where further examination and studies were done. Dental records were used to identify the remains as 22-year-old Xavier Menifee. He was reported missing in August. The trial is underway of a Zanesville truck driver charged in a November 2023 crash with a charter bus. It killed 6 people and injured 18 others. Proceedings in the case of 63-year-old Jacob McDonald began Monday in Licking County Common Pleas Court. He's pleaded not guilty to charges, including aggravated vehicular homicide. McDonald was driving a truck on I-70 when it hit a vehicle in front of him and a bus carrying 54 students and chaperones from Tusky Valley local schools. 3 students died in the crash, as did 3 adults in the other vehicle. Prosecutors say McDonald was speeding and not paying attention prior to the collision. The defense attorney argues his client was driving reasonably and the bus had a hard braking incident before the wreck. Mayor of Warren wants the state to look into Steward healthcare system. Doug Franklin sent a letter to Attorney General Dave Yost late last month asking for an investigation into possible Medicare fraud. The letter accuses Steward of restricting access to a bank account where Medicare, Medicaid, and other government funds are kept. The action is kept inside Foundation from using the money to pay for operations at Trumbull Regional Medical Center. The hospital furloughed staff members due to the lack of funding. Franklin accuses Steward of using the money to pay itself and vendors. Insight took over management of the hospitals during Steward's bankruptcy. 58 degrees at 2:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall. A Wisconsin prosecutor has cleared police from Ohio of criminal liability in a fatal shooting near the Republican National Convention last summer. Columbus officers were in Milwaukee in July to provide extra security when they shot and killed 43-year-old Samuel Sharp on a street near the convention arena. Officers said Sharp was trying to stab another man. The attack was not connected to the convention. Milwaukee County District Attorney Ken Lovern said in a letter Monday to Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant, the officers felt Sharp meant to seriously injure or kill the other man. He added officers could be heard on body camera footage shouting at Sharp to drop his knives, but Sharp ignored them. An Indiana man died when his private airplane crashed Monday evening in rural Ashland County. 72-year-old Gary Wofelt of West Lafayette, Indiana, was the only person in the single-engine plane when it crashed into the woods around 7:40 p.m. in the area of State Route 89 and Jackson Township Road 902. Highway Patrol was assisted at the scene by the Ashland County Sheriff's Office, Ashland County Coroner, NTSB, and FAA. The incident remains under investigation. 55 degrees at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
71 mild and muggy degrees for the afternoon high today, but keep an eye to the sky for another round of strong to severe storms late afternoon into the evening. Overnight, more scattered thunderstorms before midnight with a low of 51. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back. 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM 1310, WDPN.com. Sam Bourquin with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Phone lines are open. If you want to get in, now's a good time at the top of the hour. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can also text the program at 330-356-1146. Sammy B here. Ryan Rainsberg there. Get you ready for game 2 of the Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers tonight. That's a 7 o'clock tip. Cavaliers need this one tonight. Still no information, no new information, I should say, as far as what is going on with the injury situation. Cavs could be down Garland tonight. They could be down Garland. They could be down Hunter. They could be down Mobley. Ay. Hoping we hear something before we leave you at around 6 o'clock. All right, of course, the Guardians and the Nationals got rained out last night. They're playing a doubleheader this afternoon in D.C., and we are currently tied 1-1. Nationals and Guardians 1-1. In the top of the second inning, this is game 1 of a traditional doubleheader. Game 2 should go at around 6:30, maybe 6:45 or so. Guardians came in today 20-14. The Nationals were 16-19. Each team scored a run in the first inning. Well, Cleveland's just taking the lead now, 2-1 as we speak. How about that? 2-1 Guards in the second inning. Daniel Schneemann scored on a wild pitch today. And guess who just hit a home run to deep right field? Nope, not Hosey. Nolan Jones. Okay, Guards up 2-1 over the Nationals in the second inning. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. Let's take a phone call here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Good afternoon. You're on 1310 WDPN. Who are we talking to?
Hi, Sam. It's Mark from Massillon.
Hey, Mark. How are you this afternoon?
Good. How you doing?
Good, bud.
I have to disagree with you about the robotic umpire.
Ooh, okay. Fire away.
Because some of the best games in the history of baseball are the managers' ejections at the end of games. How can they argue with a robot? The player ejection.
You can
arguing that close pitch.
Yeah. The only way you can argue with the robot is you can unplug it. you can take the plug out of the outlet. That's all you can do.
I like the ejections. I like watching Sports Center and watching these guys go nuts. And especially back, when we were young, it was really overzealous with Earl Weaver.
Earl Weaver, yeah. Oh, it was a show. It was a show. Earl Weaver and Hal McRae and way back Tommy Lasorda, Sparky Anderson would get into it with him. Lou Piniella, he flipped his lid a few times, didn't he?
Yeah. So if we had robots back then, none of that would have happened. Well, they might have broke the robot, but they might have come out and destroyed the thing.
Yeah. So, I don't know. As I get a little bit older, I've come more. I don't want more technology in sports, especially baseball. But Mark, some of these umpires are beyond horrible calling balls and strikes.
Yeah, they are. But it's part of the game.
But I know, but
if I'm at a game and I'm eating my peanuts and drinking my beer and there's a bad umpire, I want to yell at him.
Now, okay, let's just say the Guardians are your team, right?
Right.
Or no? Okay, let's say the Guardians are playing the Twins. You're up at Progressive Field. You got a nice seat behind the first base dugout, and the umpire blows 5 or 6 really, really, really bad pitches. I mean, it's so bad that you want to go down to the field and do something to him, and it ends up costing the Guardians the game, and they lose. And maybe it's a big game, maybe it's a playoff game, or it's a wild card game, or it's a game you need to get into the postseason. How are you going to feel about having robotic umpires then, because you just got screwed over by the real umpires?
Well, what they could do is do like in the NFL. You could do a challenge, right? And then the announcer will say, well, they could challenge that, but it's not reviewable.
Well, sounds like another sport I know. I don't know. I look, I want to keep it as pure and simple as we can. But you know what ticked me off about this was the game on Sunday afternoon. With the Guardians and who were we playing Sunday? Toronto. That home plate umpire was so bad with balls and strikes. That's what finally tipped me over the edge. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to go on the air Monday and I'm going to demand we go with robotic umpires, or at least some kind of a challenge system, because and it's not just me, Mark. I mean, if you listen to Hammy on the radio, or you listen to Underwood and Manning on the TV, and it's not just Guardians announcers, it's all across Major League Baseball, from New York to LA to Chicago to Texas. The home plate umpiring has been awful.
Yeah, I agree, but it always has been.
So leave it.
Think about it. It's never been good.
Oh my gosh. Well, Mark, I appreciate you calling in today, and I respectfully sort of kind of disagree with you, but I appreciate the call.
Okay. Take care, buddy.
You bet. There you go. Mark and Maslin checking in on 1310 WDPN. I think I had him turned around at the end there. I think I had him believing my way was the way. I don't know.
I don't know, Sam. He made some pretty good points.
He did, but I think I made some good ones too.
Yeah.
And I'm the host, so guess what?
Fair enough.
I win.
I'm just saying I agreed with him a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was just a really, really bad day for that umpire. But that was just one game. On any given day, what do we have? Do we have 30 teams in Major League Baseball? I think we have 30. So do the math, 15 games a day. And if it's just one game where one umpire's having one bad afternoon or night, okay. But it seems to be happening all over the place. I mean, just watch SportsCenter any night or MLB TV. Watch all the highlights of the games, and you see how bad some of these home plate umpires are. And it's just you want consistency. And I think if you're a pitcher, you want to go by the letter of the law. I mean, if the ball's over, it's a strike. If it's not, it's a ball. Don't change it during the game. One inning, the high strike is good. The next inning, the high strike is not there. Now you got the pitcher mad. You got the batter mad. You got the catcher mad. You got the managers mad. You got the fans mad, especially behind home plate, who think they know it all. We talked about this yesterday, and we had a couple texts on it today, and Mark with the phone call about it. So I think people they're thinking about it. Maybe it just takes a couple more really bad performances by a home plate umpire for you maybe to completely change your mind. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. You can also text the program on the WDPN text line at 330-536-1146. Here's text from the 330. Sam, love the show. Glad to have you on in the Carnation City. Thank you. From the 234, no more technology. Leave it alone. What if it screws your team out of a win or a playoff berth or a postseason victory? Then how are you going to feel about that then? It's like nobody really cares until it affects them or their team. You gotta care all the time. You just can't pick and choose. You just can't pick and choose. You know what I'm going to do, I think? I think I'm going to, in the good spirit of doing what a good show host would do, we're going to present both sides of the argument. And I'm going to reach out to a couple of my umpire friends. And I have a lot of friends who are umpires, officials, referees. I'm going to reach out to a couple of umpires and maybe see if we can get one to come on. And we'll just have a little conversation. How's that sound? That way, we're hearing from the guys in the blue, and we're hearing from the baseball fans and the people that love the game. I think I'm going to do that. Now, I just got to figure out who I'm going to reach out to. I have to work on that maybe here after tonight's show. I bet you there's a couple of umpires out there listening now, unless they're working a game. But I'm going to reach out to a couple. If they don't have a game during the hours that our show's on, maybe we'll have them on the phone here, and we'll kick it around a little bit. What do you say? All right, let's take a break. 330-821-1310. You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show. It's about 20 minutes after the hour, 4 o'clock. Quick Guardians update. The Guards lead the Nationals 2-1 now in the bottom of the third inning. Nolan Jones has gone deep today for Cleveland. We'll take a break and come back. It's the Sam Bourquin Show. Stay with us, 1310 WDPN.
Military personnel are returning home with specialized skills. Hire smart, hire a vet. This message courtesy of Wisman's Apex Tree Service in New Franklin, where they're specializing in residential and commercial tree removal, proper pruning, and tree maintenance. Check out their Facebook page and visit them online at apextreeohio.com or call 330-807-8398, 330-807-8398 for Aaron Wisman and his crew at Wisman's Apex Tree Service, reminding everyone to hire smart, hire a vet. Are you looking to send flowers to someone special? Let DeHoff's Flowers Greenhouse and Landscaping take the hassle out of this beautiful gesture for you. When you order online through national flower dealers, you lose 20 to 30% of your money because it goes to the middleman. Get more bloom for your buck and order from DeHoff's. They'll deliver. It's true. When you skip the middleman, all your money goes towards the flowers, and that makes everyone happy. Well, except the middleman. Locally owned and operated, the experts at DeHoff's have over 61 years of professional knowledge and experience, and they'll be happy to design the perfect arrangement for all the events in your life. So remember, DeHoffs.com, and you'll always get more bloom for your buck. In Alliance on the corner of Beach and Beechwood, you can order by phone, too, at 330-823-1455.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
I got the headphones back on. Welcome back, everybody. 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world. Hello, nation, at 330-821-1310. That's the number to call in. You can also text the show at 330-356-1146. Hello to all of you watching right now on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel or on the stream at AM1310WDPN.com. Nate Larisha, Sports Information Director at the University of Mount Union, is going to be joining us at about 4:35 today. We're going to talk about the Purple Raider baseball team hosting the OAC postseason tournament, and we'll check in with Nate and see what else is going on with the spring sports scene at Mount Union. As again, it's been a real good spring for Raider Nation. Okay, so we're looking forward to talking with Nate coming up here in about 10, 12 minutes here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Again, Cavs in action against the Pacers tonight at 7, game 2 of that best-of-7 series. Indiana leads it by a 1-0 margin. Well, we've got a wild one already in D.C. today. Guardians and the Nationals now in the bottom of the third. The Nationals have come back to take the lead over the Guardians by the score of 3-2. Luis Ortiz getting lit up a little bit today. 2 1/3, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 1 strikeout, and 2 walks. Nolan Jones has homered today for the Guardians. Then they'll take about a 20-minute break, and then they'll get back at it in game 2 tonight. That should go around 6:30, 6:45 from our nation's capital. That is the only afternoon baseball game today. Everything else is under the lights. I wanted to see what the Motor City Kitties were doing today. Detroit is actually out in Colorado to take on the Rockies tonight at 8:40. And, you know, with Colorado, with games in March, April, even into May, you always got to go check the weather. But it looks like things are going to be okay tonight in Colorado for the Tigers and the Rockies. Okay. So I mentioned before we went to the break a couple things we're just going to kind of get into, not hardcore, but just kind of touch on a little bit. Some college football news today. Notre Dame and Clemson have agreed to a 12-year contract to play each other in football. 12-year deal. It's going to begin in 2027. Let's see here. Notre Dame's schedule, it plays 5 ACC games each year under an affiliation agreement. But you don't necessarily play, you're not guaranteed to play those same 5 teams every year. But it looks like Notre Dame and Clemson are going to play each other every year. Notre Dame is expected to play Miami of Florida and Florida State more regularly. Okay, good idea there as part of that ACC rotation. So that's good. I think when that first started, like Notre Dame was playing all the ACC weaklings because they were playing, they were playing the USCs, they were playing Stanford, they had some other big games on their schedule, Michigan, and they said, let's try to play some of the weak sisters in the ACC. But it looks like every year now, at least for the most part, you're going to get Notre Dame, Miami, Notre Dame, Clemson, and Notre Dame, Florida State almost every year, or maybe almost every other year. By the way, the game in 27 will be at Clemson, and then they'll go to the Notre Dame in 28, and then they'll switch up the rest of the way. So that's good. Wanted to give you an update on the young man. Remember the young man that fell onto the warning track at PNC Park? I think it was about a week ago. Remember during the baseball game between the Pirates and Cubs? And McCutcheon for the Pirates had a double and runs were scoring. And while this was going on, a fan fell onto the warning track out in right center field. He's still improving. This was yesterday, still awake and alert and able to speak. Obviously, they're watching things here very, very closely. Young man is a former football player and student at Walsh University. Spokesman says Jennifer Phillips took a couple of more steps. It's a slow process, but seeing him up moving around is a huge win and definitely lifted everyone's spirits. So hopefully he can get better here. So we're still praying for the young man who took that tumble at PNC Park about a week or so ago. Man, I went back and I watched that video again the other day. I didn't go looking for it. It just they were giving an update, and it sort of popped up on my timeline. I was like, oh my goodness. But hopefully he's going to come all the way back and make a full recovery. And again, our prayers with everybody there. All right, we got the news and the weather coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Don't forget, about 7 or 8 minutes from now, University of Mount Union, SID, Nate LaRisha is going to join us and get us up to speed with what's going on over with the University of Mount Union and their spring sports and getting ready to host this big OAC conference baseball tournament coming up here beginning on May the 8th. Lots more to come. Stay with us, everybody. 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. Jury selection kicked off yesterday in a Manhattan federal court in the criminal trial of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs, who faces 5 federal charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. 55-year-old held without bail since his arrest in September. He's pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors allege Combs led a criminal enterprise starting in 2004 using his music and business empire to intimidate, exploit, and traffic women for sex. Swiss bank UBS Group AG yesterday agreed to pay $511 million to settle a criminal investigation by the Justice Department that found Credit Suisse, bought by UBS in 2023, helped Americans evade taxes on more than $4 billion and more than 400 offshore accounts. The most recent case, Credit Suisse admitted to conspiring to help individuals prepare and file false U.S. tax returns from 2010 to 2021 and was found to repeatedly have failed to fully disclose offshore accounts to authorities. The Government now offering $1,000 stipends and travel assistance to illegal immigrants who volunteer to depart the U.S. for their countries of origin. The DHS says it currently costs an average just over $17,000 to arrest, detain, and remove an undocumented immigrant. In a Monday interview with Fox News, Border czar Tom Homan said the program would save money and relieve resources to focus more on the criminals. The program requires immigrants to use the U.S. Customs and Border Protection's Home app, which had previously served as a portal to access the U.S. asylum system under the Biden administration. A fact sheet says users will receive a $1,000 stipend only after their arrival in their country of origin is confirmed through the app. It could also help keep the door open for legal immigration into the U.S. at a later date. Surging global demand for natural gas and the build-out of a new Louisiana export terminal highlighted a record-setting March for U.S. gas producers. In March, they exported nearly 9.25% more liquefied natural gas than in December, surpassing the previous export record set less than 3 months ago. Europeans again paced the market, purchasing more than 70% of March's exports. Sales to Asian and Latin American buyers have steadily increased. As much as a third of U.S. LNG exports now go to Asian buyers, primarily in Japan, South Korea, and India. The Army has suspended helicopter flights into and around the Pentagon after an incident last week involving a military chopper flying close to Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, resulting in air traffic control aborting the landings of 2 commercial flights. 12th Aviation Battalion tasked with evacuating top political officials in cases of emergency. Incident prompting the suspension occurred Thursday when a Delta flight and Republic Airways flight were instructed to abort their landings and go around because of a military air transport helicopter operating nearby. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's security cabinet approved an operational plan for expansion of the war in Gaza. It includes the occupation of more parts of Gaza, paving the way for a full occupation of the Strip, moving Palestinians to the south. It also approves the possibility of humanitarian aid into Gaza while denying Hamas the ability to distribute humanitarian supplies. Blueprint differs from its predecessor in that the Israel Defense Forces are moving from the method of raids to the occupation of the territories and remaining in them. 56 degrees at 4:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, the threat is there for another round of severe thunderstorm activity by late afternoon into the evening hours today. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, milder 71 muggy degrees. Overnight, scattered rain and thunder mostly before midnight. Our low 51. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
America, our military is sacrificing for our freedom. So please take time to remember our men and women fighting overseas. This salute courtesy of Diamond in the Rough Property Solutions, serving our community with dependability and excellence. For all of your residential and light commercial remodeling needs, call the professionals at 330-763-0089. 330-763-0089. Diamond in the Rough Property Solutions, reminding everyone to hire smart, hire a vet.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
We got about 4:35 here on your Tuesday afternoon. Phone lines are open, ready for business at 330-821-1310. You can also text the show at 330-536-1146. We'll get to your text here in just a little bit. Still 3-2 Nationals over the Guardians in the third inning. Cavs and Pacers tonight. Game 2 at Rocket Arena. Tip off a little bit after 7 o'clock. Now, we've got a big weekend, I guess, because it's going to all begin on Thursday, the OAC Conference Baseball Tournament at Rayfield Rogers Field on the campus of the University of Mount Union. We've got our lacrosse team is in. We got an exciting time for Purple Raiders spring sports, and I thought today would be a good day before it really gets going to bring on Sports Information Director of Media Relations, Nate LaRisha, to the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN. Nate the Great, how you doing this afternoon?
Sam, I appreciate you having me on. I first want to congratulate you on your show. Well-deserved and long overdue, but appreciate all your coverage of Mount Union athletics over the years, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, you got it, bud. Always a pleasure to catch up with you, and we'll kind of chop it up here a little bit. First of all, it's not every day that the Purple Raiders are hosting the OAC tournament. I was digging back in and looking at the release. 2013 was the last year, and the year before that was 1970. So this is an exciting time for the Purple Raider baseball program, and kind of tell everybody how that the school, the university, and how you in particular and Mr. Purnell and everybody's getting ready for this big doings over at Rayfield Rogers Field beginning Thursday.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're really exciting time in Alliance. As you mentioned, it's been a while. 2017 was the last OAC championship, regular season championship, and the second time since 1970. So being able to host it, only top 4 teams to get in. So it's gonna be the best of the best. Double elimination, so a lot of great baseball in Alliance this coming week, and Mountain Union and veteran head coach Paul Hesse, you had on the show last week. They're ready. They're getting the field ready. It should be good weather, and we hosted a softball tournament, OAC tournament last year. It's always an honor to host, but it's always you got to deal with the weather. And, we had a lot of cancellations and postponement last year, so this year we're looking forward to better weather, and it should be a great week.
Well, I don't want to be a jinx, but I'll tell you what, it looks pretty good. 64 on Thursday, 63 and sunny on Friday, 74 and nothing but sunshine on Saturday. So hopefully no interruptions. We can get all these games in, and hopefully it's a real special day for the guys wearing purple on Saturday. And you mentioned it, Nate, and I really like, in today's age where it seems like a lot of teams get into a lot of things, the OAC postseason baseball, if you're not a part of the top 4, you're not invited. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, Mount Union, John Carroll, Ohio Northern, Baldwin Wallace. It's the best that the conference has to order. And I think that makes it even more special because this should be very, very competitive for the folks that want to come over and watch some games.
No, I agree. There's nothing pure about, there's nothing pure more than, Division III, and Division III baseball is right there, with that. And, if you look at the MPI rankings, which is, what everyone talks about now with the computer system, you pretty much know if you're going to have a good shot at large if you don't win the conference tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Mountain Union was, 14. I'll have to check this week what they are, but they're right in the thick of things, obviously, with how that goes. But you want to win. They won the regular season. They win the tournament. They get the at large, or they get the automatic to the NCAA tournament, which will start the following week. So, but yeah, it's going to be great competition. It's going to be some great pitching. We're in Mountain Union. They're healthy. They're ready. We got some great transfers, which I know you mentioned, Christosaurus when you had Hesse on, and really excited about him. But a lot of seniors. I don't want to mention everybody because I'm sure I'll forget somebody. But they're a great group of guys, and they love playing for each other. I think that's important. And it should be a great tournament. And if anyone's out there, want to come out, you got to pay this time.
That's right. No freebies.
Get in free. But but maybe the SID could hook you up, maybe. But yeah, but it'll be worth it. It'll be a great environment, and it's really a great setting back there too.
It is
across the street from the main campus, which you've cut a lot of Mount Union baseball games in the past. Hopefully, you do some more in the future here. But it's a great setting for baseball.
It is. It's a lot of fun. You're close to the action. Again, I marvel at some of the renovations that you've done over there with the turf on the infield and just making it looks nicer and nicer every time I'm able to come over and check it out. So it all begins Thursday. Mount Union, the number 1 seed, against our old friends, John Carroll. They're the 4 seed. That'll be at noon. And then the second game on Thursday will be at 3 o'clock, the number 2 seed Ohio Northern and the number 3 seed Baldwin Wallace. And then we come back Friday with 3 games at 9:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and then 4 p.m. And then Saturday, there's a game at noon. And if need be, there could be one at 3 p.m. And I don't know if you got the information handy. If not, I can certainly roll through it, Nate. But for the folks that are interested in coming out, maybe tell them the ticket situation, how they get them, how much, what it all uncovers, and different things like that.
Yeah, so they're either on our website, Mount Union, athletics on mountunion.edu. You can also go to the OAC website, oac.org. It's on hometown ticketing, so it's all digital. $15 for the day. So that's a steal, especially if you come Friday. There's 3 games, so $15 for 3 games, and then or $25 for the whole tournament. So all digital. They might be taking cash. I don't want to make that official yet, but definitely if you get it pay in advance, that's the way to go. But I also want to this might be a next question coming up. I also want to give a shout out to you mentioned it in your opener, women's lacrosse. They're competing in the NCAA tournament, on Saturday. I'm really happy for them. They won the OAC tournament. Also, women's golf. They're competing next week in the NCAA tournament. So, really, really happy. And then softball. They're in the
too,
OAC
right?
Tournament.
Yeah.
They're at Baldwin Wallace. They're the number 2 seed. So I think Mount Union is a special place, and I feel like there's a lot of Division III schools, or really any division. They kind of recruit to play, but I feel like Mount Union really recruits to win. And we have commencement this coming weekend, so a lot of schools are kind of like, all right, we had a great year, but now time for summer plans. And Mount Union says, hey, we're still going, we're still kicking it. So including hosting the OAC tournament. So we're really excited here.
Outstanding. Nate Larisha is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, the outstanding SID for the University of Mount Union. You're right. You got softball, baseball, golf, and lacrosse still rolling here early in the month of May. And that's just, look, we know how we do in fall and winter, and the spring doesn't take a backseat either. While I've got you, Nate, and I guess the longer I'm around it and doing some different things and talking to different players and coaches and the overall, we know Mount is an outstanding institution, academically second to none, but the athletics from sport to sport, whether it's men's, women's, club, intramural, varsity, what have you, it is going through a golden era right now, I think.
No, I agree. And I think the standard's a standard. I mean, it started, in my opinion, Larry Karras, obviously the foundation of that, setting the standard and putting Mount Union on the national map, the national stage with football. The national championships, 13 of them, speak for themselves. But we got track and field winning national championships, All-Americans. We got, all these teams making a national, NCAA tournament, softball, golf,
swimming and diving.
Swimming and diving. Yeah. So, I mean, really, really across the board. And you think, obviously academics is important, and but I think competing, on athletic team, especially at Mount Union, you're going to get that experience like no other, and it's going to prepare you in the real world. And I think I've been at other places, and it's not a knock on any other places, but Mount Union is just different. Like it's you're not gonna, if you started in high school, you're not guaranteed to start at Mount Union. And I think that's in any sport. You gotta have that mindset. You still gotta earn your way. And that's any sport. And that's really, I think that's admirable watching. And there's still no scholarship, still no athletic scholarship. So I think it's really, admirable. And I have a ton of respect for student athletes who who are getting it done on and off the field, on and off the playing surface, but that are just competing at a high level just because the love of the game, the passion for the game, but also I think the passion to compete and win too. I think that's another separation of Mountain Union.
Well, and you're right, because there's a difference between, okay, well, I'm doing this for the love of the game. I want to compete. There's also the other flip side of, I'm doing this for the love of the game, and doggone it, I want to win championships. I want to win trophies. There's a big difference there. And with Mount Union, Nate, I believe it all starts with the people. And again, you can mention almost every coach and everybody on their staff. That's why the performances speak as highly as they do. It's the people.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where it starts. And I think we got all our coaches have that mindset of, we're here to compete. We're not here to play. We're here to compete against the best. And when we're scheduling these non-conference games, the MPI rankings are a factor, but also we want to be better. We want to get better. We're not just trying to get easy wins. Playing anybody. Like we're competing. I mean, I know Coach Hesse was talking about all the competition down in Florida.
Oh yeah, they bumped it up this year.
Absolutely, and maybe Empire rankings have changed that a little bit, but at the same time, you still want to compete against the best, because that's going to make you better. And they say if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And a lot of times, the best is Mountain Union, thankfully, but also every year is different. You clean slate, so you want to be the best that you can be.
Nate Larish is our guest from the University of Mount Union, outstanding sports information director, media coordinator, does it all. Just a little refresher here, Nate. Some people asked me the last couple of days about the upcoming football season and like the new partnership now with another conference. Now that John Carroll is going to be leaving, how that's going to change the way schedules are moving forward starting this year. Because you could kind of recap that a little bit, the agreement with the conference and some of the teams and names that people from around our area should start maybe to get familiar with over the next several years.
Yeah, so honestly, at this point, it opens up the two non-conference dates. So we have an agreement with Wheaton and Grove City the next 2 years. We're going to host Wheaton to kick off the 2025 season and play at Grove City. So really, when we talk about we're not just playing anybody just to get wins. I mean, those are tough competitions. Grove City making the playoffs, they really turned things around there in the PAC, and then it'll be flipped the next year. So as far as, John Carroll leaving and filling in that spot, that's kind of above my pay grade and above, the conversations that I have. And I think they're kind of tossed around names here and there. Nothing official. And so I don't know. I think you can kind of see both ends of the argument too. Cause like I said, it opens up, more dates for non-conference, not just for football, but for any sport.
Sure.
And we talked about kind of go back to the previous, topic of playing those best of the best non-conferences to build not only MPI rankings but just be a better team. So I think that's kind of the positive, and also I think the OAC is in a really good shape. The conference is in really good shape as is, even if they lose a member. John Carroll, obviously, they had great history, great competition, but I think they're still in a great spot. There's some conferences are kind of maybe overload, overboard, and maybe have too many. I mean, so I don't know. That's just kind of my personal opinion, but I think we'll kind of wait and see with that. I think it's still an exciting time, and really across the board with the competition. I mean, obviously, football probably gets the most headlines, not just Mountain Union, but just football in general. But even like soccer and all these sports, that the competition, man. If you go to a soccer game, one goal could. It's incredible how close the game is. And I always look at it from, especially my press box seat, it's like a game within a game. Like there's all these, there might be 1-0, but there's all these games, all these battles being won on the field. So I think, across the board, any sport within the conference, and we have 25 varsity sports at Mountain Union, and, just adding women's wrestling, that was their first varsity. Clay Wanger doing a great job there, the head coach, their first varsity season this past year. So I think that's something to maybe keep an eye on. Maybe adding more sports down the road, because I think that's something that we're definitely interested in, and just getting still standards still the standard no matter what sport we add. But I think it's an exciting time for the conference and for Mount Union.
No doubt about it. And we're certainly looking forward to it, covering as many sports and covering the student athletes and coaches as we can here on 1310. And of course, we're hoping for a great couple of weeks here for the softball, baseball, and of course the golf and lacrosse going at it as well. It's a special time. And Nate, we always appreciate your time. I know you're super busy. There's lots going on. I'm hoping and imploring as many people to come out to Rayfield Rogers Field this weekend to catch the OAC baseball tournament. And with the weather, I think you're going to have some big crowds, some very supportive crowds, and hopefully the Raiders will be standing tall here on Saturday. I appreciate you coming on, man. We'll catch up with you here real soon down the road. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate you.
You got it. Nate Larisha, SID, communications coordinator for the University of Mount Union. Big week for the Purple Raiders, and we wish them nothing but the best. 4:53 here on your Tuesday afternoon. 330-821-1310. You can text the show at 330-536-1146. You're locked in. 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you or someone you know is living with Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement, we understand that it can be difficult to know where to find help.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers. Answers for everyone in the fight.
We can help you understand the disease,
help you find expert care and local support,
give you tips for living a better life,
and share the latest research.
Find your answers and join us in the fight against Parkinson's.
To learn more, please go to parkinson.org
or call 1-800-473-4636.
That's 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
In classrooms across the country, chronic absenteeism is on the rise.
Sophia A., grade 4, absent. Julio M., grade 6, absent.
Aisha S., grade 12, absent.
These absences are often due to the absence of crucial needs, like transportation, healthcare, a working computer, mental health support. The list goes on.
Olivia H., absent. Preston L., absent.
Chloe B., absent.
The reasons why they're absent are very real. And yet the solution is someone present to help them along their path. When site coordinators from communities and schools are on hand, they connect kids to the resources they need. And when they do, 99% of students are present and remain in school throughout the year.
Jacob O., grade 10, present.
Communities and Schools works directly with students, helping them overcome obstacles to succeed in school and in life. Learn more at communitiesinschools.org. Being present matters.
Possibilities are all around us. We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action. Together, we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Want to thank Nate Larisha from the University of Mount Union for spending some time with us here on 1310 WDPN. Again, baseball postseason, Rayfield Rogers Field, University of Mount Union, gets underway Thursday at noon. Mount Union and John Carroll, the second ball game, Ohio Northern and Baldwin Wallace. It's a double elimination tournament. You've got 2 games on Thursday, and you've got 3 games on Friday, and you'll have 1 at least on Saturday, and you might have 2. But check it out, mountunion.edu for all your ticket information. Again, we'd hope to see you over there this weekend and see if the Raiders can get through, get that tournament championship, and move into the NCAA Division III baseball tournament. That would be pretty cool. All right, Nationals have taken a 4-2 lead now over the Guardians. That ball game in the top of the 5th inning in our nation's capital. So we'll continue to keep our eyes on that here during the show on 1310 WDPN. Again, phone lines are open if you want to get a quick call in before the top of the hour, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. Also, congratulations and good luck to the Mount softball team, the Mount golf team, and the Mount Union lacrosse team. All in action this week. That's pretty cool. And then, the spring sports season it'll go. It'll finish up. Hopefully some good stuff coming. And then everybody kind of gets to take a little bit of a break, a little respite before it all begins. And before you know it, the Raider Nation will be coming alive. The practice fields will be populated, and they'll be doing 2-a-days. I remember LK used to run 3-a-days. Maybe it's just 2-a-days now with Coach Dart. I'm not sure. But they'll have hundreds out on the practice field, getting ready to go for another season of Mount Union football. You can catch each and every game right here on 1310 WDPN. It'll be on the stream at Q92radiosports.com. Looking forward to it. It's going to be, I never want to say it's going to be a little different because we always expect the standard. What is it? Champion the standard. Okay. That's the deal. Hashtag champion the standard. But as you know, every once in a while, Mount will lose a few more players than normal due to graduation, whatever. And they'll be plugging in some new faces this year, quarterback, and we'll check it out. But that's way down the road. But it'll be here before you know it, and we're excited to get you ready here on 1310 WDPN. We got about 2 minutes before we get you to the top of the hour. Cavaliers and the Pacers tonight. How we feeling? How we feeling, Cavs fans? I don't know. I'm still looking for some information on our injury situation. Nothing has been coming across here lately. There's a possibility. I say a possibility the Cavs are going to have to go without Garland, without Hunter, and without Mobley tonight. And if that's the case, holy smokes. It's going to be up to Kenny Atkinson to roll out the starting five he thinks is going to get it done. And then you're going to have to go a little bit deeper onto your bench tonight. You will see guys out there tonight maybe you haven't seen in a long, long time, especially playing some extended minutes. So that's going to be something. Hopefully we'll get a word on some injury situation, some injury news before we leave you here at 6 o'clock. All right. Big top of the hour coming up. We got 60 more big minutes to go. We'll take your calls. We'll read your texts. We'll interact with you. And we'll come back and ready to rock here, right here. 1310 WDPN. We are streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. You can watch the show on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. The news is next. The Sam Bourquin Show continues on the other side. Stay with us.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Talks at the White House between President Trump and Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney focusing on U.S. imposed tariffs. Carney says Canada is the biggest trading client for the U.S. and tariffs open up the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement carved out during the first Trump administration.
It is a basis for a broader negotiation. Some things about it are going to have to change. And part of the way you've conducted these tariffs has taken advantage of existing aspects of USMCA. So it's going to have to change. There's other elements that have come, and that's part of what we're going to discuss.
President Trump says more talks are needed before tariffs are lifted. Following last week's brief outage of critical air traffic controller radar screens at Newark Liberty International, Flight Radar 24 showing nearly 900 flights have been canceled. ATC supervisors now being sent to help monitor the airspace. Police in Texas say the body of a 10-year-old girl swept away by floods in Texas has been recovered today. This is ABC News.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks? Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking? Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
I want you to imagine for a moment you're in a hospital. You are the patient connected to an IV bag. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, endless pokes, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine experiencing all of these things and you're only a child. This is why Starlight exists, to bring happiness to hospitalized children through programs that help kids cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook. Programs like gaming, virtual reality headsets, toy deliveries, radio flyer wagons, and cozy hospital gowns are just a few of the ways Starlight eases a child's hospital stay. Because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
In classrooms across the country, chronic absenteeism is on the rise.
Sophia A., grade 4, absent. Julio M., grade 6, absent.
Aisha S., grade 12, absent.
These absences are often due to the absence of crucial needs, like transportation, healthcare, a working computer, mental health support. The list goes on.
Olivia H., absent. Preston L., absent.
Chloe B., absent.
The reasons why they're absent are very real, and yet the solution is someone present to help them along their path. When site coordinators from communities and schools are on hand, they connect kids to the resources they need. And when they do, 99% of students are present and remain in school throughout the year.
Jacob O., grade 10,
present. Communities and Schools works directly with students, helping them overcome obstacles to succeed in school and in life. Learn more at communitiesinschools.org. Being present matters.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon, it's 5:02. Polls are open for the primary election until 7:30. Alliance City Council has 2 contested primaries. In Ward 3, Councilmember Ed Lonis faces primary challenger Logan Kelleher. The winner will face Democrat Jessica Rizzolatti in the general election. Council at-large members Chris Bagera, Jennifer Kiko, and Philip Mastriani are challenged by the Reverend Joshua Smith. 3 of the 4 will advance. The winners will face Democrat Jorge Mendoza in November. Stark County Children's Services is asking for approval of a $1.4 million levy to replace one passed in 2019. The current levy, which is expiring, raises about $12.6 million a year. The replacement would raise roughly $18.7 million. The makeup of the Housing Oversight Board for the City of Alliance received mixed reviews Monday. It's part of the rental property regulations passed by Council last month. The 5 members are appointed by the mayor and include a council member, landlord, tenant, and mayor, and safety service director.
I put a good group of citizens on it, even though they were councilmen. They do a great job, and we're thankful to have them on.
Mayor Andy Grove wants to appoint council members Sheila Cherry, Philip Mastriani, and Cindy King as council member, landlord, and tenant, respectively. Council member Chris Bagheera believes this shows a lack of transparency. Grove says he will reconsider the appointments as requested by Councilman Ed Lonis. The Summit County Medical Examiner's Office has identified skeletal remains found in Akron as those of a Canton man reported missing in August 2024. Dental records were used to identify the remains as 22-year-old Xavier Menifee. Akron police were called Friday afternoon to a homeless encampment in the 300 block of Silver Street. Officers found the remains in a fire pit and nearby area. They were taken to the medical examiner's lab where further examination and studies were performed. Proceedings are underway for the trial of a man charged in a fatal crash involving a charter bus carrying students from Tusky Valley local schools. 63-year-old Jacob McDonald of Zanesville has pleaded not guilty to charges including aggravated vehicular homicide. The case is being heard in Licking County Common Pleas Court. He was driving a truck on I-70 in November 2023 when it rear-ended an SUV and a bus carrying 54 band members and chaperones from Tusky Valley. 3 students died, as well as 3 adults in the vehicle between the semi and bus. 18 others were injured in the wreck. McDonald's defense attorney says his client was driving reasonably and the bus had a hard braking incident before the collision. Prosecutors say he was speeding and not paying attention. A criminal charge was filed against a Youngstown woman accused of pandering obscenity involving a minor. 18-year-old Melanie Neville allegedly sent a screenshot of a 17-year-old girl having sex with a male. She also sent nude photos of the girl. The child's mother reportedly told police Neville sent the photos to at least 4 people. Neville was arraigned by video in Mahoning County Court Monday. Steward Healthcare System is the subject of a letter to Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost. Warren Mayor Doug Franklin sent the letter late last month asking the state to investigate Steward for possible Medicare fraud. Insight Foundation took over Steward assets during its bankruptcy proceedings in September. Franklin says Medicaid, Medicare, and other government funds needed to operate the former Trumbull Regional Medical Center are being held by Steward. Hospital furloughed staff members due to the lack of funding. Franklin accuses Steward of restricting access to a bank account where the funds are kept and using the money to pay itself and vendors. Renovations of Kilcawley Center on the campus of Youngstown State University are getting underway. The 50-year-old facility will be modernized during a multi-phase project with completion scheduled for fall 2027. Several restaurants and all meeting spaces, which closed Monday, will remain off limits until May 11th. There will be additional closures during renovations slated for this summer. A man has been sentenced to more than 9 years in prison for drug trafficking in Warren. 51-year-old Eric Rivers was handed the sentence Monday in federal court. He pleaded guilty in January to charges in an 11-count indictment issued in March 2024. The indictment said Rivers sold cocaine, crack cocaine, and fentanyl from a home on Charles Avenue from September to November of 2021. He also had a semi-automatic pistol, even though he was barred from having a firearm due to a 2003 conviction in Trumbull County for aggravated robbery and kidnapping. A building in Jewett got the attention of Harrison County law enforcement after reports of smells coming from the building. Officers found over 30 dead animals inside. According to police, the residence hasn't been occupied for the last couple of weeks. The sheriff's office has completed a portion of the investigation, and the case is now moving forward, with officers waiting for charges to be filed by the grand jury. Patrolman Matthew McMahon says there were animal carcasses inside. There was supposed to be somebody that was feeding the dogs, which ended up being false information. Inside, there were a total of 35 carcasses found and 13 surviving animals. The prosecutor will determine what charges will be filed. An Indiana man died when his private airplane crashed Monday night in rural Ashland County. 72-year-old Gary Wolfelt of West Lafayette was the only person in the single-engine plane when it went down in the woods around 7:40 p.m. in the area of State Route 89 and Jackson Township Road 902. That's according to the Ashland Post of the Highway Patrol. Troopers were assisted at the scene by the Ashland County Sheriff's Office, the Polk Jackson Perry Fire District, Ashland County Coroner's Office, NTSB, and the FAA. The incident remains under investigation. And Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins met this week with Ohio farmers affected by the highly pathogenic avian influenza. The delegation toured farms in Darke County. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Ohio has had the most birds affected by the influenza in 2025. Cases are now trending down in Ohio. The virus led to the culling of more than 15 million birds. Ohio is the second largest egg producer in the U.S. For the week ending May 2nd, the USDA reports wholesale prices for large white eggs delivered to warehouses in the Midwest were unchanged at $3.61 per dozen, $4.38 in the West, and $3.72 in the Northeast. Most demand over the past week came from efforts to replenish stocks drawn down by the recent Easter holiday. say demand is now down, according to the USDA, as current supplies are just shy of sufficient. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 40,829, down 390 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 155 points lower at 17,689, and the S&P 500 closed at 5,606, down 43 points. It's 53 degrees in Alliance at 5:08. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Scattered rain and strong to severe storms likely by late afternoon into the evening hours today. It's going to be warmer, 71 degrees for the high. Overnight, more scattered showers and strong storms, mainly before midnight. Our low, 51. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back, 1310 WDPN. We are streaming live all over the world, am1310WDPN.com. If you are listening and watching, hello on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. And you can watch on the WDPN Facebook page and X page as well. Well. Welcome in. 12 minutes after 5 o'clock. You are going to be shocked when I tell you. It's going to rain again. This afternoon, tonight, and hopefully this gobbledygook will be out of here by late tomorrow, and then we can just have a little sunshine the rest of the week, okay? I am hoping. I was listening to a weather report a couple of hours ago. No, it was about noon or so. We're 2 inches over already. In the month of May, as far as rain, it's ridiculous, and I'm ready for sun. I need some sun. We all need some sunshine, and hopefully you get it here in a couple of days. You ready for some sun over there, right?
Oh, absolutely. We are. It's supposed to be April showers, but we're getting May showers. So
yeah,
I think maybe June flowers this year.
April showers brings May showers that brings bad moods.
Yeah, no, because we usually still have winter in April, so. We don't get spring until May, so this is still like the first week of spring for us.
Man, so let's get some sun in here. What do you say? Okay, welcome into the 5 o'clock 1310. You can also text the program at 330-536-1146. Cavs Pacers coming up tonight. We're going to check in with John Bourquin here in about 60 seconds and get John's thoughts, a little different perspective on tonight's matchup with the Pacers up in Cleveland. Quick update on the Guardians. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning now in our nation's capital. It is the Nationals 4 and Cleveland 2. 4-2 Nats in the bottom of the 6th. This is game 1 of a traditional double header. All right, let's go to the WDPN hotline and bring on our good buddy John Bourquin here to the Sam Bourquin Show ahead of the Cavs-Pacers game tonight. A little bit after 7 o'clock. You can catch it on TNT. Johnny Bo, how you doing this afternoon?
Good. How are you, Samuel?
I'm good. I'm anxious, and I'm starting to get a little nervous. And I certainly didn't think I would feel this way a couple hours before tip-off, but the fact that no injury news has come through, and I'm really starting to think that Kenny Atkinson might have to come up with a really, really, really different starting five tonight. How are you feeling before game 2?
Yeah, I understand the feelings of being anxious. I really do after watching game 1. But I also come to it from a standpoint of that's the best the Pacers have shot this entire postseason. I mean, they, for all intents and purposes, came into Cleveland and shot the lights out of the place. Now, I know if you go back to post the first month of the season, the Cavs were, I think, 20 and something, and The Pacers were like 10-15, and they've been 40-17 since, plus winning a playoff series, plus what they did in game one. But they're like 19 for 36 from three in game one is the best they've done. That's the most threes they've made throughout the postseason thus far. And I guess the thing that I keep falling back on is that despite how good they are offensively, are they going to do that every single time out? And this is also not the first time that the Cavs have been in a potential dogfight with the Pacers. I wanted to bring up a series from 2018 with you that I wasn't sure if you remembered, because I was having flashbacks to the fact that going into game 7 that year in 2018, the Cavs had come off of their worst showing in a game 6, and they ended up starting Tristan Thompson in that game 7, and he provided a huge burst of energy for them with like 15 points, 10 rebounds, had a couple of block shots into the first couple rows. So the precedent is there for some of these guys, Tristan Thompson being one of them, to come in key situations and perform. Now, that was a 27, I think, year old Tristan Thompson, or however old he was at that point. But still, you know, there's precedent there. And also, it's hard to go on the road and beat a team that's as good as the Cavs twice on their home floor. And I would say it's, you know, the same thing when you go to Indiana. But I just feel that regardless of what the pundits may be saying, that the Cavs understand that they're in a must-win tonight, because if they go down 0-2 going to Indiana, they need to win both then at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, and that's one of the hardest places to play in the league.
It is. And John, you're right. I don't think, I mean, I don't think there's any way possible the Pacers redo that shooting percentage that they did the other day. And I don't think it's possible that the Cavaliers, no matter who's out there, will fire up 9 from 38 from three-point range for the second game in a row. And you know how the NBA playoffs work. What you see game 1 could completely be reversed in game 2. I just worry that, say we have to go without 3 guys tonight, and it could happen. You could have no Garland and no Hunter, and you could have no Mobley. Let me put you in Kenny Atkinson's shoes, by the way, the NBA Coach of the Year, and for a reason. Who do you start tonight, John, game 2 for the Cavs?
Well, let's see. They've already been without Garland, so the issue there has gone the way of Sam Merrill. I don't know if they'll do that again. The concept of no Evan Mobley, I bet they start Dean Wade.
That's okay.
Allowed.
That's what I thought too.
Because, you know, you want that lengthy kind of wing defender that can pop out and hit the 3. And plus, he is a very, very capable player. I also think it's time that, and I know that this is probably a take for a lot of people, that they're going to be like, God, are we really going to see that guy? But Craig Porter Jr.
Yep.
Probably should see some time if there's no Darius Garland. And I only say that because he is a great ball handler. He makes the right decisions. He shoots at a high level, and he kind of has that energy that you've been looking for. I felt the other night at times that the biggest problem was that the Cavs offense went stagnant because it was Donovan Mitchell dribble down the floor, wait until about 8 on the shot clock, and then decide what he was going to do. And, you know, we remember that offense. That offense lost to Orlando back in 2010 when the Cavs played with LeBron on the roster. So, you know, the concept of having this 1 versus 5 offense does not work. That's not to say that guys like Mobley and, you know, Jerome didn't go for 20 plus the other night, but you need more ball movement. You need a little bit more help around him. And I think a Craig Porter Jr. would be a huge piece. And then beyond that, when it comes to replacing DeAndre Hunter, I just really think you need guys like Merrill and Jerome, and you need Wade to make those shots. You need those shots to become fill in for them. And I think Wade is very capable of doing that. It's just that, you know, can the Cavs go a night against a team that's playing as well as Indiana and get that type of effort out of those guys that, you know, maybe haven't been pressed into that situation. I'm not worried about Dean Wade. I'm not worried about Sam Merrill. They've stepped up in big situations before, but a guy like a Craig Porter Jr., is he ready for that spotlight to be put on him? And that's what the playoff does. It makes boys into men. And, this is one of those situations. This guy has to prove that his time sitting behind all these guys waiting his turn is going to pay dividends, and that it's going to make sense for Kenny Atkinson to put him in the rotation potentially.
Well, we will find out. Real quick, I want to get this out there. Our good buddy Sam Amico from Amico Hoops. According to Kenny Atkinson, this is from 40 seconds ago, so this is hot. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter remain questionable for Game 2. Quote, I'll have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C if needed. None of the three took part in shoot-around this morning. So that was just about a minute ago. Okay.
Isn't some of that gamesmanship, though?
Could be. We had somebody call in about that and say, hey, maybe this is the Cavs just maybe kind of playing games a little bit. And the one thing I will say, and you can learn a lot by keeping tabs on the boys in Vegas. They still have the Cavaliers a 7.5-point favorite tonight. So take with that what you wish.
Well, and I firmly believe in what you said too. 9 for 38 is not just bad for the Cavs from three. It is historically bad this postseason. I think before that, the least threes they had made in a game was like 15. I think they were like 15 for 40 in like game 2 or 3 against the likes of the Heat. They might have had a game where they made only 13, but they were not only making threes, but they were shooting threes on a very, very, very high level in that previous series. I mean, the one game they made like 22 of 45 from three. Donovan Mitchell in game 1, I think he was 1 for 11 from distance. How many times is a guy that's probably in the MVP conversation going to go out and do that when the lights are the brightest? It breathes the way that it's going to be a 7-game series. I think that, if you've been around it long enough, you've seen enough of these, that when a team like the Pacers comes in and punches you in the mouth like that it either is going to be a 7-game series or it's going to wake the Cavs up, and the Cavs are going to play their best basketball and reach a level that we haven't even seen them reach. And they're going to reel off, 3 of the next, or 4 of the next 5 in a row and win in 6. So, I know a lot of people keep playing the two comparisons too that have been happening all year, and I think they're unfair, but a lot of people have been comparing this Cavs team to the 2015 Hawks team that had Al Horford and Paul Millsap and Kyle Korver, and saying that, that team was a 60-22 team that was coached by Mike Budenholzer, who I think that year won Coach of the Year.
Yep, they got bounced.
And at the time, they got swept by the Cavs and LeBron, and everyone said, oh, they were fraud. Really a real force to be reckoned with. And then I see a lot of people comparing the Pacers this year to the Orlando Magic from either 08, 09 or 9, 10, whatever year it was that they had Hedo Turkoglu, and they had, I think Rashard Lewis was on that team. 18, I think they had Jameer Nelson.
Yep, I remember it well.
Dwight Howard. And, the Cavs won 2 games in that series, but it took a miracle shot by LeBron, and it took an otherworldly effort in Orlando to beat a really good team coached by a really good coach in Stan Van Gundy. And that's the other play in tonight, Sam, is that, we know that Kenny Atkinson is Coach of the Year, and rightfully so. He took a team that was 48-34 last year and improved their win total to 64-18. They were the number 1 seed and pretty much never relinquished it all year. But is there a coach anywhere in the NBA, maybe Eric Spoelstra, and I bet you could probably put Steve Kerr and at this point, Greg Popovich, if he was still coaching in this realm. But Rick Carlisle's an NBA champion, man.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
He beat the Miami Heat way back in the day when he had Dirk and he had Jason Kidd and all those guys with the Mavericks. So he's experienced. He knows what it takes. He knows how to get the most out of his guys. And it feels like he was anchoring his chess pieces just a little bit better in game 1.
Chat with John Bazika, our very own 1310 WDPN here on the Sam Bourquin Show as we get you ready for the Cavs and Pacers tonight. Tip at 7:10. You can catch it on TNT. It's game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Of course, Kenny Atkinson gets Coach of the Year, and I'm sure you saw where Sam Presti, he got General Manager of the Year. Kobe Altman was in second place for General Manager of the Year, and third was former Cav Trajan Langdon of the Detroit Pistons. So some irony there. But hey, the wine and gold, John, they got to be in good shape now. When your GM is getting the number 2 look and your head coach is getting the number 1 look for the season, I think the future's bright. But well, you know how the NBA, man, the windows can open and close in a hurry. But I think we're in good shape for the next 3 to 4 to 5 years, don't you?
Yeah, I would say without question, and obviously Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year, and I think people neglect to realize sometimes just how young some of these guys still are. I mean, I think the better part of the core of this team, I don't know that there's any guy in that core that's over the age of like 28 or 29. So it is a very, very young core. And the question still remains, because as I said, a lot of people like to compare them to the 14-15 Hawks. I will say the only difference about those two cores is that a lot of those guys were assembled later in their career. Like Al Horford had been there a while. Paul Millsap had kind of been around the league. Kyle Korver was a hired hand that went from spot to spot, spent a couple years in Cleveland. So it's different. The Cavs have built this organically. They've done it with, the right GM, Kobe Altman, who took over after David Griffith left after assembling the 2016 team and eventually went, I think, to the Pelicans. So, they've done it in a very organic manner, and they've gone out and they've gotten their tactician to be their head coach in Kenny Atkinson. I kind of draw it to the Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr, JB Bickerstaff to Kenny Atkinson. And that's no slight on JB Bickerstaff. I personally thought JB should have been Coach of the Year this year. I thought the job he did with, Detroit going from a 20-win team to a 44-win team that pushed the Knicks all the way to 6 games in round 1 of the playoffs was just downright impressive. And they're going to be a problem now in the East as well with Jalen Duren and with, Cade Cunningham. He's got a nice core there, and you guarantee that he's got a chip on his shoulder because he probably feels like the Cavs did him dirty letting him walk after he made it to the second round of the playoffs last year. So, as you said, that window closes fast. You never know when it's going to be your time. You never know when you're going to run completely out of time. You think that you're on top of the world and that you've got all the chess pieces in your arsenal. And I use the Cavs when they had LeBron, Love, and Irving as the perfect example. They were the best team in the league in probably, I would say, 2 out of those, 3 years when they had that core together, and they only got 1 title out of it. And It took them doing something that no one else had ever done before for them to get that 1 title. So that shows just how hard it is to get one. Go back a couple years ago, 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks win a championship against the Phoenix Suns. Everyone's saying, oh my goodness, look at these 2 teams. They're so young. They're so vibrant. They've got all these pieces. They're going to be there for years and years to come. I don't think Milwaukee's made it out of the first round since then.
They have not.
And Phoenix didn't even make the playoffs this year.
No.
So, you never know when that window is closing. 2 years ago, look at the Kings. They were on top of the world. They had, Sabonis, and they had a young man who was shipped off in a trade to the Spurs, whose name is eluding me, the great guard they had there for a minute. And now they don't even have the same coach, Mike Brown, who's been everywhere and been done wrong by the NBA and done right by the NBA so many times, doesn't have a job there. And they're looking to try to fill the pieces and figure out what happens next. So, you either do it when you're on top or you get eliminated, you try to come back and you're never the same team. And, there are contracts that are up at the end of this year. A guy like Ty Jerome, what happens to him after this season, after the exhibition that he's put on for so many NBA teams this year? So, it's not just an important game for this series. it could be an important game for the betterment of the Cavs franchise moving forward. Because if you get swept in round 2 or you lose in round 2 in an ugly way, then you got to start thinking, well, 64-18, was that a mirage or was it for real? And then, that enters into a whole landscape of questions that I don't think a lot of Cavs fans or Clevelanders want to have.
No, not right now. Johnny Bo, we got to get to the news here at the bottom of the hour. Appreciate the phone call. We'll see how it all plays out tonight, and hopefully we're 1-1 come about 10 o'clock tonight. Good to talk to you, bud.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it, man.
There you go. John Bazika joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Quick update before we get the news. Top of the 7th inning, the Nationals lead the Guardians by the score of 6-3. We'll be back.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. President Trump and new Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney faced off in the Oval Office today and showed no signs of retreating from their differences in an ongoing trade war that has broken decades of trust between the two countries. The two kept it civil, but as for Trump's calls to make Canada the 51st state, Carney insisted his nation was, quote, not for sale, end quote, and Trump shot back, quote, time will tell, end quote. Asked by a reporter if there was anything Carney could tell him to lift his tariffs of as much as 25% on Canada, Trump bluntly said no. President added for emphasis, just the way it is. Nearly 900 flights have been canceled at Newark Liberty International Airport since last week's outage that led to some air traffic controllers taking medical leave. The outage wiped out radars and cut off communications to pilots for as much as 90 seconds. The air traffic controllers who were on duty that day are taking time away from the job. The FAA is sending supervisors to help, but they need some time to get caught up trafficking the busy airspace in the New York City area. Today, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said his agency is prepared to fast-track repairs to controller facilities and communications apparatus, some of which is decades old.
It hasn't been done because it's hard, right? We have to keep planes in the air, landing, taking off. These facilities have to operate as we're building new radar, fiber, radios, sensors. So that choreography is going to be challenging for us. But just because it's challenging doesn't mean that we don't do it.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was on Capitol Hill today answering questions before the House Appropriations Committee on the budget, but she also was grilled on the deportation policies of the Trump administration, particularly regarding Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was sent to El Salvador's notorious prison by mistake. At one point, Democrat Lauren Underwood asked Noem whether due process applied to all in the U.S., and Noem failed to provide a yes or no answer. More from ABC's Jay O'Brien, who says the members of the Trump administration have offered mixed messages on that same question.
A flashpoint was on that question of due process, which Noem didn't fully answer there. The president got that question this weekend as well in an interview. He was asked if he believes migrants, undocumented immigrants are subject to due process, which again, courts have said that they are. The president said he didn't know. The Secretary of State said that the answer to that question was yes.
Jury selection has resumed in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs as a federal judge and lawyers try to seat a jury of individuals who are not so opinionated about the hip-hop mogul that they can't be fair. The majority of prospective jurors questioned early today were disqualified after lawyers for the 55-year-old entertainer and prosecutors found flaws in their answers to questions designed to see if they can be fair and unbiased. Combs has pleaded not guilty to a 5-count indictment, charging him with leading a racketeering conspiracy that resulted in various crimes, including kidnapping, arson, bribery, and sex trafficking. It's 54 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
71 mild and muggy degrees for the afternoon high today, but keep an eye to the sky for another round of strong to severe storms late afternoon into the evening. Overnight, more scattered thunderstorms before midnight with a low of 51. I am Mark J. Weather from News 5.
Tonight we're gonna take no prisoners. This time we're gonna live our dream. Tonight the orange and blue delivers. Hard-working town, hard-working team. Oh, and tonight the hardwood's burning, and the crafts will keep on working. Get behind the orange and blue with all your might. Cavs basketball tonight. Cavs basketball tonight.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, we're getting nervous now. We're going back into the archives, bringing up the old fight songs. You believe this? Second game of round 2, and some of us are freaking out. Some of us aren't. Again, the latest from Sam Amico, our good buddy from Hoops Wire. Cavs coach Kenny Atkinson says Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter remain questionable for Game 2. He's got a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C if needed. Again, nobody in those 3 players I just mentioned was at shoot-around this morning. Now, I think we have to know by around 6 o'clock. I think that's within the rules of the NBA. I could be wrong here, but I think we have to know by 6 o'clock who's available and who's not available for tonight's Game 2. And Sam Merrill, Max Strus, Porter, Dean Wade, get ready. Get ready. Get yourselves hydrated. Maybe take a couple of Tylenol before you go out there tonight. We may need you to ball. All right. Game 2, Cavs Pacers. What do you think? How you feeling now? We came on at 3 o'clock trying to gauge how everybody was doing. How you feeling now getting ready for Game 2? 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. Would love to hear from you here in the final 25 minutes of the show. You can always text the show. We'll get those on the air for you. Give you a minute. Write this number down. It's very important. 330-536-1146. That's the text line, and we'll read those comments on the show. You can also drop us a comment on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel, where we're broadcasting live right now. And you can also listen to us on the WDPN stream on X and on the WDPN Facebook page as well. Cavs are still 7.5-point favorites tonight against Indiana. I don't know. I know what we need to do. We need for Mr. Rainsburg to watch the entire game tonight. That's going to give us some good karma, and the Cavs are going to win. Would you be willing to give us 2.5 hours of your night tonight and devote it to the Cavs game for the good of the program, for the good of 1310, Ryan? Can you do that for us?
You're putting me on the spot, but I'm going to need you to define the word watch for me. Can I put it on in the background and listen? So I can do 2 things at once. How you feeling about that?
Well, then the next question would be, well, what else will you be doing?
I don't know. I'm playing that far ahead.
Oh,
I'm not good.
So I've basically given you
homework,
a half chore to do.
Yes.
Tonight.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, if you'll do that for us, if you at least put the game on in the background.
Yeah. I just want to understand the parameters that I'm working with here so that I do not do it incorrectly. I'll be sure to I'll do my best.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to have the game on, it's on TNT.
Okay.
Make sure the volume's up just in case something happened. Okay, good.
Yep.
And then so this is strictly going to fall on your shoulders now. If the Cavs lose tonight, you're in big trouble tomorrow.
Okay, well,
you might want to come in under disguise tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a good thing I'm not on camera, so.
Well, we can fix that. I can turn this little camera right around, buddy, and you'll be on camera real quick.
I'll stop running the board then.
Okay. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. God, no, we don't want that.
Friend.
That's true. 330-821-1310 is the telephone number. 330-821-1310. Cavs and Pacers tonight. Guardians are still getting whooped by the Washington Nationals in our nation's capital. Let me get a quick up. Oh, hey, they're coming back. All right, there. See, you say something wrong, and boom, it turns around for you. Okay, we're in the bottom of the 7th inning. It is the Nationals 6, the Guardians 5. 6-6-0 for the Nats, 5-10-2 for the Guardians. How do we get our runs here? John Kenzie Noel doubled to score. Martinez Hosey got an infield hit, and Kyle Manzardo got a force out. So we're piecing it together. This is game one of a doubleheader, and just as I speak, another one crosses the plate. It's a 7-6 Guardians lead in the top of the seventh. Go get them. Looking for win number 21. This is a doubleheader, by the way. Game two will be coming up around 7 o'clock tonight. Let's go to the phones at 330-821-13. No, we lost them. Call back, whoever you are. They must have been in a hurry. Give us a call back if you want. 330-821-1310. 330-821-1310. Okay, so let me see here now. Guardians lead 7-6 now. They've scored 5 times in the top of the seventh inning. John Kenzie Noel got one in. Hosey got a couple in. Manzardo got one in. And Gabby Arias singled the left. And Kyle Manzardo scored. And Carlos Santana scored. So we got the bats out today in D.C., 7-6 Cleveland in the top of the seventh inning. All right, back to the phones we go. 330-821-1310. Good afternoon. You're on the Sam Bourquin Show. Who's this?
Hey, Sam, I watch you on YouTube, buddy. How are you?
Hey, good. How's it going?
You ought to take some of that duct tape, hanging that banner up, and fix your phone. Took me about 5 times to get through. What's going on?
Hey now. We're chopping away. We're chopping away. Don't worry, that banner's going to look sweet tomorrow. Don't worry about that.
Well, are you doing sports or are you doing unforgettable favorites? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh boy. Well, we're doing sports, but your unforgettable favorites will be with you right after 6 o'clock. How's that?
No.
No?
I'm here for Sam. I'm here for Sammy B.
Okay.
So,
well, that's good. Maybe I'll sing some unforgettable favorites for you.
No. Speaking of unforgettable favorites, I mean, it's been a while since we've heard you doing sports talk here on the radio in town. Whatever happened to guys that used to be on the radio around here? Like, what was that guy on Friday nights that used to do Viewpoint? What was his name? Bob something? Whatever happened to him?
Bob Viewpoint. Bob Bishop, maybe?
No. Bald guy, glasses, was from Mansfield. Do you remember him?
Bald guy from Mansfield.
Oh, I can't remember his name. He used to do nights when you were across town over there, and he would do Viewpoint on Friday nights. And we always look forward when you were filling in because you were so much better. And I can't remember that guy's name.
Man, I can't either. I can't remember anything to even help myself. I don't know.
It'll come to me the minute that we get off this call. I guarantee you.
I have no idea.
Bob. Oh my gosh, it's a.
Wasn't Bob a Bowie? I know that.
No, it wasn't that. I know Eddie Ghosh passed, right?
Yes, he did. God rest his soul. Yeah, he did.
What about some of the other guys? Are they still around? Some of those regular callers, they still around?
Oh, I'm sure they are. I mean, gosh, so much time has passed. Man, I'll be honest with you. There's times where I'm afraid to look at the obits some nights. I really am.
Well, you're getting to be about that age now.
I know. I worry about a lot of different things now than I worried about 15, 20, 25 years ago. We've reached the double nickel age, so you take a little different perspective on life, if you know what I mean.
Well, listen, I want to wish you the best. I think you're a good guy. I'm watching the YouTube. I think the graphics look really good. I mean, I do chuckle a little bit with the duct tape and the electrical tape and that mic boom that looks like it was installed when the building was built in 1947. But hey, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Only you would pick that out. Only you would pick that out.
Listen, Sam, we wish you nothing but the best, bud.
Oh my God! Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it. Oh, many blessings to that last caller, and I know who it was. It took me about 30 or 40 words into the phone call, and I figured out who it was. I could be wrong because my hearing is going along with my sight. But hey, look, the duct tape is all in the eyes of the beholder, right? It'll look nice tomorrow. It is a brand spanking new banner, so it's kind of hard to hang up. But me and Rainsberger, we've been working hard to keep making that look nice back there.
Yeah,
we'll get it figured out.
It's fighting with us.
We'll
but
get it figured out.
We're gonna get it straightened out.
No doubt. All right, the Guards have got another one on the board. It's 8-6 now. Cleveland in the bottom of the 7th inning over the Washington Nationals. And again, the latest injury update on the Cleveland Cavaliers. DeAndre Hunter, questionable for tonight. Evan Mobley, questionable for tonight. Darius Garland, questionable for tonight's game 2 between the Cavs and the Indiana Pacers. All right. Also, tonight in the NBA, we've got a big doubleheader tonight of playoff hoops. As I said, to the 3 o'clock hour, and if you're not I don't know, either you're a pretty big NBA fan or you're not. I guess we've got some casual ones. But if you're hardcore, you are eating these playoffs up. The ratings have been through the roof, and I think it's going to go that way until June. I really, really do. Golden State and Minnesota, they will be the nighttime game tonight, 9:30, as the T-Wolves are a 6.5-point favorite over Steph and the Warriors tonight in Minnesota. All right, we're going to take a break. We have got about 12 minutes until we get to the top of the hour. 330-821-1310. You can text the program as well at 330-536-1146. That last caller. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN. Stay with us, everybody. Much more to come.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
With love, I will build a wonderful thing that makes this life better for you and for me.
For 100 years and counting, Shriners Hospitals for Children has been creating wonderful opportunities for children in need. This life-changing medical care helps them do the things they've always dreamed of.
Shriners Hospitals for Children has done so much for me and so many other kids.
I can dance.
I can play games with my friends.
Because of Shriners Hospitals for Children, I have no limits, and I'm doing more than what I ever thought possible.
To find out more about how children in need are being helped every day, go to loveshriners.org today.
Hey drivers, it's Ryan Blaney, your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion and driver of the number 12 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Do you know one of the most important things that helps keep my car going on the track? Tire pressure. Keeping your tires properly inflated is crucial for safe stopping power and better gas mileage. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Got about 10 minutes left in the program. Want to sneak a quick call in, 330-821-1310. Boy, the Guardians. What got into them today? Holy smokes, 8-6 now. In the bottom of the 7th. Again, this is game 1 of a scheduled doubleheader. Want to thank Nate Larisha, the outstanding sports information director from the University of Mount Union, for joining us earlier in the program. I just kind of want to reset there a little bit for you Mount Union fans. They are hosting the OAC Conference Baseball Tournament, and it begins on Thursday, May the 8th, and it will run and through Saturday, May the 10th. Only 4 teams make the tournament. Okay, this isn't one of those, well, if you had a pretty decent year, we'll let you in. You got to earn your way in. So Mount Union, Baldwin Wallace, Ohio Northern, John Carroll. Okay, it's a double elimination. And the winner of the OAC postseason tournament gets the automatic bid to the NCAA Division III tournament. Now, there's a possibility, but you don't want to chance it. Even if Mount would not win the OAC tournament, probably a really good chance that they would still get a bid, but you really don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So again, good luck to Paul Hesse and the Purple Raiders. They've got the noon game. That's the first game Thursday against John Carroll. It's the 1 seed against the 4 seed. And we'll have some great coverage for you. We'll be updating scores as much as we can here on the air and all of our social media platforms, and hoping for a good weekend of Purple Raider baseball. Also want to shout out the softball team. They're in action. The golf team is in action, and the lacrosse team made the tournament as well. So a busy time for Mount Union Athletics, and good luck to Raider Nation coming up here the next several days. Some small Cleveland Browns news today, if you will. Today was number day up in Berea. So the free agents and the rookies got to get their numbers, if you will, the numbers that they're going to wear for the upcoming season. And some surprises, I guess I would say. Shedeur Sanders, I thought, was like a lock to wear number 2. No, he's going to wear number 12. And there's been a lot of chatter on X today about why that was, and most have drawn the conclusion because where he was drafted, okay, 5th round, pick 144, and he's going to try to prove a lot of people wrong, and he's got a big chip on his shoulder. Some are saying he picked number 12 because that's the number that Tom Brady wore when he was a 6th round pick out of the University of Michigan. Interesting. Harold Fannin Jr., the former Kent McKinley Bulldog and Bowling Green State Falcon, he will wear number 88 for the Browns. Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback that was drafted out of Oregon, he will take over the Jameis Winston number. All right, Gabriel will wear number 5. Dylan Sampson, the running back out of Tennessee, he will wear number 22. Quinshawn Judkins out of Ohio State. Here's a guy I thought would wear number 1. Juan Thornhill had number 1 last year. He's long gone. I thought, all right, Quinshawn's going to get the wear number. Nope. He's going to wear number 10. The linebacker, Swessinger, out of UCLA, is going to wear 49. And Graham, our top pick out of the University of Michigan, he will wear number 94. I saw Kenny Pickett. He is going to be wearing number 8. So for all you numbers gurus out there, that's what the Browns rookies are going to be wearing here coming up for the 2025 season. We're about 6 minutes away from finding out who's going to play for the Cavs and who isn't. I think they've got to let us know at least an hour before tip. And I'm going through all the Cavs beat writers, all my basketball sources from the Cavs and the NBA. And nothing since what I told you about what Sam Miko put out about 35, 40 minutes ago that Hunter and Mobley and Garland were all questionable for tonight's game. And that has not changed. So we will see. You know what? The first round was so easy. It almost gave me a false sense of something. And I'm thinking, okay, we just swept the Miami Heat, who I guess comes to pass, they weren't that good. But I'm thinking, okay, so we're not going to sweep the Pacers. But we're certainly not going to lose the first game at home. Now I'm hoping they don't lose the second game at home. If the Cavs would happen to go down 0-2, with the injury situation, and now you're going to go to Indiana on Friday. That makes it very strenuous. If the Cavaliers come back tonight, they get a win, 1-1, go to Indy, steal one this weekend. Now you've got home court back, and now it's a best of 3. So, to me, best case scenario for me is by Sunday night about 11 o'clock, it's a 2-2 series. And then it's a best of 3. You've got Cleveland, Indiana, back to Cleveland if you need to go 7. At the end of the day, all you need to do is win 4. All you need to do is win 4 out of 7, and you advance. And look what happened to the Boston Celtics last night. They were at home. They were pounding the New York Knicks. I mean, they were pounding them. They had them down by 20. And the Knicks come back, and they beat them in overtime. Look what happened to the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. Chet Holmgren bounces a couple of free throws late in the game. Big misses. Nuggets get it in transition, go down, hit a 3, win the game. So the Thunder, the Cavs, and the Celtics all lost their first games in the second round series, and they lost them at home. So I guess you can take a little bit of solace there that it didn't just happen to the Cavaliers, it also happened to 2 other teams as well. So just kind of keep that in mind as we get ready for game 2 here tonight. We got a big show coming up tomorrow, so you want to join us at 3 here on 1310 WDPN and streaming live, of course, at AM1310WDPN.com. We will recap the Cavaliers and the Pacers, game 2 at Rocket Arena. We will recap the doubleheader between the Cleveland Guardians and the Washington Nationals. It is going on right now in our nation's capital. And oh, my goodness gracious. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Guardians and the Nationals are tied at 8. Oh, and it gets worse. The Nationals had the bases loaded. Okay? So the Guardians and the Nationals 8-8 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Game 2 of that doubleheader now. Who knows when that's going to start? But it's not going to be at 6:30, I can tell you that. So we'll recap all that tomorrow. We'll get a little high school baseball talk in tomorrow. We will continue to get you ready for the big week of Mount Union sports, and we'll take a look at maybe some NHL tomorrow. Thursday, we have our 3-question Thursday. We will be chatting with Spin Davies about the NBA and the Cleveland Cavaliers. We are going to be checking in with Zach Jackson from The Athletic on Thursday afternoon. And, of course, we'll have a big Feel Good Friday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show coming up on Friday as well. I want to thank my producer extraordinaire today, the man who spins the dials, runs the dials, keeps us rolling, Ryan Rainsberg. Thanks to all of you for calling, texting, email, and commenting on all of our incredible social media platforms. And we'll do it all again tomorrow. You hear Phil in the background. It's time to go. The Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. Have a great night, everybody. Go Cavs, go Guards. We'll talk to you tomorrow.